Hey everyone, I thought I'd make a little bit of a different video today and answer the question, should you invest within a corporation? I've made a few videos lately on how to create a sole proprietorship, how to create a corporation, and this seemed like a logical continuation of those videos. And just so I put together some of the stuff I learned from conversations with my accountants and some of my other clients, sort of about how they structure this, and would make it really insightful for any of you who might be considering corporation or investing within it. Again, I'm not an accountant, so double check any of this stuff with your accountant, but it's all pretty common knowledge. It's on the Tax Act and stuff like that. So hopefully this is just a really good paraphrase way for you to kind of understand why you might want to invest within it or not. And I just broke this down into a few key factors. So we'll just go through those really quickly and make sure you're all in good shape and understand some of the basics of investing within a corporation and most importantly, big considerations. The first and probably most important thing to consider is how much of the original capital you'll retain. This is sort of the big advantage to investing within your corporation. It's sort of that nearly unlimited tax deferral. Since when you invest within your corporation, you ultimately can retain or rather invest more capital due to the lower corporate taxes. In BC, active business income only faces an 11% SBD or small business tax rate, so 89% of capital remains available for investment. Whereas if you invested personally, you would need to withdraw all the funds as salaries or dividends, and you're going to be taxed almost certainly at a much higher personal rate, reducing the original capital. As a quick comparison, let's say you're already taking out enough to fund your lifestyle. If you defer $100,000 within your corporation and you're just paying that 11% tax rate, that will leave $89,000 that you can invest in your brokerage account. But if you're at the top personal rate already and you withdraw it, you're going to be paying 54% tax on that in BC, or in the high 40s in Alberta and some other provinces. So in short, there's a massive spread there, potentially up to about 40%. So per $100,000 that you leave in your corporation to invest, you're potentially investing $40,000 more. So again, it's sort of like a giant unlimited room RSP that you can use. So that's kind of the big one. And again, the big factor. Obviously, if you don't have a corporation, or even if you do, using RSP can maximize capital retention at lower amounts, since contributions obviously reduce taxable income and the investment growth is tax-free until withdrawal. So I definitely would still want to consider using those, but especially once you get into bigger numbers, that's a big consideration. Next thing, big consideration is going to be the tax rate on the investment income, whatever you choose to invest in. Investment income within a corporation, like dividends or capital gains, is taxed at higher rates than the active business income. You're not taxed at 11% on dividends, rental income, or capital gains. And this is because they want to aim to discourage passive investment within corporations. Also, capital gains within corporations have a higher inclusion rate compared to personal. That actually formatted wrong. It's lower personally. So obviously there's only a 50% inclusion rate personally, at least up to 250K a year, but within a corporation, it's 2/3 are included in capital gains. Only 1/3 are exempt. So that's definitely a drawback to investing within your corporation. Obviously, if you get to invest way more, it might still be worth it, as it usually is. Also, dividends from investments are taxed at corporate investment rates, which are generally higher than your personal rates. But refundable taxes can be claimed once your profits are paid out as personal dividends. So again, a couple considerations there with the tax rates on investment income that may make certain investments advantageous personally, despite that larger initial investment. Next thing that I think is important to consider is the purpose of the investment. For short-term cash surpluses, investment within the corporations, like various liquid assets, might be very beneficial as it will avoid withdrawing and redepositing funds. But for longer-term goals like your retirement, you will probably want to use personal accounts, especially your TFSA, maybe your RSP, to shelter investment income rather than leave it within a corporation. Again, using a corporation will be once you're sort of past that. So if you've already maxed out your TFSA and your RSP and you're continuing to do so every year, sort of that surplus funds is probably what you'd want to consider doing within your corporation. Another really big factor is the risk factor of holding passive assets inside a corporation. If your corporation carries legal liability, for example, you get sued by one of your clients or customers, assets in your corporation might be at risk. Sort of the big way to mitigate that is transferring investments to a holding company or like a sister company or something like that. Though this probably doesn't provide absolute protection, it does cover a lot of that downside. So again, chat with your accountant, chat with your lawyer, but that's a very common structure that you'll see a lot of folks using. Another really big, probably the biggest consideration, I keep saying that, they're all big considerations, but is the impact of passive income, investment income on your SBD, that 11% rate in BC, but that low teens rate. Passive income over 50K per year, that begins to reduce your eligibility for paying tax at that SBD rate. And then it sort of slowly phases out until the point where once you have 150K passive income, it's gone. So again, the government doesn't really want you getting too much passive income within your corporation. So you will want to structure your investments in such a way that that doesn't happen. If you're going to have a lot of passive income, you'll probably want to make sure that's in a holding company or sister company. Or if you just kind of have more of a growth portfolio, then you might be able to avoid that as well. Anyways, in short, investing inside a corporation can be super beneficial if you aim to retain capital and have a lot of short-term investment needs, but you definitely want to consider tax implications, legal risks, and SBD deduction thresholds if you're building a lot of passive income. Using personal investment tools like your RSP, TFSA, FHSA, and RESP might sometimes be more tax efficient for long-term goals. So it will depend a lot on your personal situation, your personal tax rates, and your time horizon. So anyways, hopefully that gives you some good perspective. I'm making a future video on creating a corporate brokerage account. So definitely stay tuned for that if you do want to go down this route. And yeah, if you found it interesting, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.